Well, you made it through week 1. Good job. If you've been on the scale, you've probably lost a good amount of weight and you're probably feeling pretty good about that, which you should. And just to give you something to keep in mind when you get on the scale next week, generally people lose a lot the first week, second week, not so much. So if you're not losing the same huge amount of weight that you lost the first week, don't you worry about it. You just, stay the course. You get to incorporate some of the foods now that are on the 2 to 4 week list from your guide. So you get to expand your nutrition. So that'll be kind of fun too. I do want to just take a moment to talk to you a little bit about exercise. When you're talking about a health intervention and we're talking about getting ourselves in the best possible shape, nutrition has its place. It's working on us from the inside out. Exercise has its place as well. You're talking about strengthening your heart, you're talking about strengthening your lungs, you're talking about increasing circulation in your body, blood flow to the brain, so that you're able to think more clearly, that you're able to learn more easily, actually. Huge in stress reduction as well. The benefits just go on and on and on. But I find that it is almost harder to get somebody moving than it is to get them eating right. And there's a lot of reasons why. People have a lot of, some valid and some what I would call, excuses. I've never had any of those. I'm sure you haven't either. But I think there's some obstacles to getting people moving. One of them I think is the law of inertia. And that says an object at rest tends to stay at rest unless moved on by an outside force. But an object in motion tends to stay in motion. So, you find that people that are, have that healthy lifestyle, and you got your runners and such that are out there running, they've been set in motion. And so it's easier to stay in motion. And likely you've had a time in your life where you were consistent with exercise at one time and maybe you're not now. And it's like, oh my gosh, just the thought of doing it again feels like such a hurdle to get over. And I wanted to give you a couple of things to think about if that's you. One, find what works for you. I know in my journey, I'm just real social and I need a little bit of help from my friends. And so there were a couple things that I did to get myself running consistently. One is I decided I'm going to sign up for a 5K a month. So I gave myself a goal to shoot for that I could hold myself accountable to. So I run a 5K once a month. And since I do that once a month, if I get out of the routine of running, it kind of refuels my motivation and my energy. The second thing is I shared with a friend my goal. And that friend stepped up to the plate and started hitting the pavement with me. And when you've got to make an appointment with somebody and they're waiting for you, and just the encouragement that they can give you in just showing up and getting moving, it can be really big. So I want you to think, are there some social structures that you can lean into? Maybe they're exercise classes at a community center or at a church. Maybe it's just butting up with someone who wants to walk with you after work. Whatever it is, that outside social aspect of it is really big for a lot of people. And so lean into it if it works, Another thing that I find gets in people's way is this all or nothing kind of thinking. They think, if I can't go to the gym and get a 60-minute workout or a full 3-mile run in, then I'm just not going to do it at all. And for a lot of people, there's not even time in the day. They can't find a 60-minute chunk. Maybe you're a parent, maybe you've got a really time-consuming job, and that's just not feasible for you. And I just want to say, hey, let's just cut that all or nothing thinking off. It's really not helpful. I want you to know that everything matters when it comes to movement. All of it adds up and all of it has benefit. And so, one of the things that I really like to do with my clients is get them working with a pedometer if you've never used one before. It's a great way to just start with the basics. Let's try and get 10,000 steps in a day. That's what the American Heart Association recommends. And if you're not exercising at all, just getting from maybe 2,000 or 3,000 steps a day, which may be normal, moving it up to 4,000 and then stretching yourself to 5,000 and then eventually being able to get up to that 10,000. You find your little tricks like walking one piece of laundry from your bedroom to your laundromat, one piece at a time, and let that accumulate the steps. And it's fun, check the pedometer and see the numbers start to accumulate. That can be a really, really helpful tool in getting somebody, moving. If you're into any of these fitness monitors like the Body Media Core Armband or the Fitbit is another one. Jawbone's got an armband. They basically track your activity. You can see how much you're moving. You can see how many steps you're taking. And sometimes just having that data feedback really builds into someone's motivation, as they can kind of see themselves gradually improving and actually can see it in hard data. It's really motivating. So that might be something that you want to think about too. And just something else to think about. It doesn't take stuff, and it doesn't take a gym, and it doesn't take a treadmill. Everybody has 2 feet. Everybody weighs something, so you always have the ability to go on a walk with your own 2 feet, do jumping jacks in your own living room, do your own push-ups, do your own sit-ups, do your own squats. There are so many exercises that can be done without any equipment whatsoever. And if you get on the internet and just start looking for body weight exercises, you'll find a ton of resources. I will tell you one thing that I really, really like is something called high intensity interval training. And it's really, really effective, and it's really efficient. It doesn't take a lot of time. You're going to get faster results in terms of boosting your metabolism and calorie burning and strengthening your endurance. All of that is just going to happen in a shorter period of time if you got the guts to go intense. And so what that looks like is, if you're running, you go out and you run really hard, for a minute, and then maybe you walk for a minute, and you run hard for a minute, and then you walk for a minute. If you want to do strength exercises, it may be, I'm going to, do dumbbell curls as hard as I can, and then I'm going to rest, and then I'm going to go as hard as I can, and then I'm going to rest. And you can do it with any exercise. You could jump rope. You could do it with your crunches. There's a million different ways that you can do high intensity interval training. But what's real nice about it is if you'll go real intense, you can get a lot done in short a period of time. You could get a lot done in 15 minutes. Not even kidding. So just some things to think about and look at. I'll send you some resources in this email that I think might help you. Maybe some body weight exercises you can take a look at. I'll look for an article on high intensity interval training that might help you as well. But the goal this week would be, let's move a little bit more tomorrow than we did today, and let's hope today we moved a little bit more than we did yesterday, okay?